It all started with a phone call nobody was supposed to hear. A call so explosive it could finally destroy everything Jim Jones has built his image, his relationship, and even his alliances inside the industry. According to insiders, this wasn't just a casual chat. This was a secret call between Jim Jones and Jaguar Wright. And what was said during that conversation might just expose the one truth he's been hiding from Chrissy Lampkin for years, for months. Fans have been speculating that something deeper was going on. That all the interviews, the warnings from 50 Cent, the emotional breakdowns from Chrissy were all connected to something bigger, something darker. But when Jaguar Wright, the same woman who's taken down one industry heavyweights before, leaked fragments of that call online, the internet went into chaos. What did Jim say? Why did he call Jaguar in the first place? And most importantly, what truth about Chrissy was so dangerous he tried to keep it off the record? Tonight, we're going deep into the call, the cover-up, and the shocking reason why. This might be the end of Jim and Chrissy as we know them. Buckle up, because once you hear what Jaguar Wright revealed, you'll never look at Jim Jones the same way again when that leaked audio hit the internet. Nobody wanted to believe it was real. At first, people thought it was AI, a deepfake, or just another rumor cooked up by the blogs. But then the voice, that unmistakable Harlem tone, the same raspy, emotional voice that fans have heard in interviews, podcasts, and live streams for years. It was Jim Jones. And on the other end, the one person in the industry bold enough to say anything. It's Jaguar, right? What started as a private phone call turned into a full-blown scandal that's now threatening to tear down one of hip-hop's longest and most complicated relationships. Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin. Because according to Jaguar Wright, this wasn't just small talk. It was a confession. Jaguar claims Jim reached out to her late one night, not for an interview, not for clout, but for advice. He was stressed, paranoid, and allegedly scared that something big was about to come out. She says Jim wanted to clear his name before someone else tried to destroy him first. And if you've followed Jaguar Wright past stories, you already know. She's not afraid to name names. She's exposed entire record labels, leaked private convos with Alisters, gone on live to accuse some of hip-hop's most powerful people of covering up dark secrets. So when she said Jim Jones called her personally, the internet lit up like wildfire. Jaguar, I can't trust anybody out here. I don't even know who's setting me up anymore. That's what Jaguar claims Jim told her in that first minute of the call. He sounded anxious, uneasy, like a man who'd been carrying something for way too long. Jaguar says Jim opened up about his situation with Chrissy, the tension at home, and how certain people around him were feeding stories to the media. She claims he hinted that the love story wasn't what people thought it was, that there were deals, promises, and secrets that never made it to the cameras of Love and Hip Hop. Now, whether you believe Jaguar Wright or not, one thing's for sure, she's consistent. Every time she comes forward with something, it's followed by receipts, interviews, and fans connecting the dots that were hiding in plain sight. So when she posted a mysterious message online saying the truth about Jim and Mitt, Chrissy is finally out. I told him not to call me unless he was ready for the truth to come out. People knew something major was about to drop within hours. The hashtags started trending. Jim Jones call leak. Hashtag Jaguar exposes Jim. Hashtag Chrissy truth revealed. And that's when fans noticed something strange. Chrissy Lampkin went completely silent. On social media, no stories, no posts, no comments, nothing. That silence spoke louder than words. Industry insiders say this wasn't just about relationship drama. This was about control. Jaguar Wright has long accused certain hip-hop circles of manipulating narratives of controlling who gets love, who gets exposed, and who gets erased. She claims Jim's call was a desperate attempt to get ahead of whatever story was coming next. But what story was that? Jaguar hinted that a major network producer was reprieve to release footage that would show what really went down between Jim and Chrissy during their break from Love and Hip Hop footage that allegedly included a private conversation between Jim and another woman. One that could have ended their engagement years ago if it had gone public. Jaguar says Jim begged her to help him spin the narrative to make sure the truth didn't reach Chrissy before he could explain it himself. But Jaguar said she doesn't protect industry lies. So what did she do? She leaked it. The leaked audio, though partially censored, was enough to spark chaos. You could hear Jim's voice saying things like, "She don't even know the half of what I've been doing for this family, and I've been protecting her from things that would have broke her." And then silence. Gua said that's where the call went dark. She claims he started crying, that he told her he'd been living with guilt over something that happened years ago, something connected to Chrissy's mother. Mama Jones had always been against their marriage. Now, remember, Mama Jones has been very vocal for over a decade. She said on camera that she didn't trust Jim's choices. She's argued with Chrissy, warned her publicly, and even claimed Jim wasn't ready for commitment. So, when this leaked call dropped, fans immediately connected the dots. Was this the secret Mama Jones was trying to warn Chrissy about all along? The comment section exploded. So, Mama Jones was right. Jim been hiding something big. Jaguar, right? Don't miss, she warned us. And right when people thought it couldn't get any crazier, Jaguar went live again. This time, she said she still had the full version of the call. She teased it with one chilling line. It's one part I haven't played yet. The part where Jim says why he stayed with Chrissy all these years. Fans flooded her chat, begging her to drop it. Clips started circulating. Reaction channels went wild, and every major hip-hop blog picked up the headline. Jim Jones' secret call with Jaguar, right? Full audio coming soon. But before Jaguar could release the full tape, something strange happened. Her live stream got suspended, her account flagged, and within minutes, the clip she uploaded mysteriously disappeared from multiple platforms. Coincidence? Or was someone trying to bury the story before it went too far? At this point, it's not just about gossip anymore. It's about damage control. Jim Jones' camp reportedly reached out to multiple outlets, calling the leak fabricated and edited to create false context. But those who've been following Jaguar's story say her track record makes it hard to dismiss her completely, because if that call is real, then Jim Jones' entire image as a loyal partner, as a Harlem legend, as a man who stood by Chrissy through it all, might crumble in front of millions. And as the dust starts to settle, one question remains. What truth was Jim so desperate to hide? After that leaked audio rocked the internet, the world of hip-hop was in absolute chaos. Everyone had a theory. Some said Jaguar Wright was Cloud, chasing again. Others swore she was telling the truth, that she'd finally cracked open the facade of one of hip-hop's longest-running perfect couples. But behind the headlines, something far darker was playing out. Something that made the whole situation feel less like gossip and more like a calculated takedown. People close to Jim Jones started noticing changes. He stopped going live as much. He canceled appearances. Even interviews he'd previously agreed to suddenly got postponed. It was like he went into survival mode, retreating from the spotlight while the internet ripped apart every piece of his past. Fans dug up old clips from Love and Hip Hop New York, analyzing every look, every silence, every argument between Jim and Chrissy, like detectives piecing together a crime scene. And then came the footage Jaguar had been teasing. A short clip, only 23 seconds, appeared on a random backup page before being deleted again. But that was all it took. In the clip, Jim's voice could clearly be heard saying, "I made a choice a long time ago. She ever finds out what I did, it's over." Those 17 words sent shockwaves through social media. Immediately, people began speculating. What was it that Chrissy wasn't supposed to find out? Was it infidelity? Was it something tied to money? one-off deals, or even street business. Jaguar supporters insisted it was something bigger than cheating. She hinted that Jim had been involved in something early in his career that connected to how he even got signed. Something that if Chrissy ever knew would make her see him differently forever. That theory gained traction when old Dipset affiliates started speaking out, cryptically referencing old Harlem business and things that never got handled right. It was like the floodgates had opened. People who'd been silent for years suddenly had something to say. For years, he suddenly had something to say. But it wasn't just the streets talking. Even industry insiders started whispering. One radio producer claimed he'd seen messages between Jim and Jaguar before the call even happened, suggesting they'd been in contact longer than anyone realized. That meant this. That meant this. Wasn't some random leak. Might have been brewing behind the scenes for weeks. Meanwhile, her friends stopped tagging her. Her closest confidants avoided questions. One insider told a blog she's devastated, but she's calm. That silence isn't weakness, it's planning. That one line fueled rumors that Chrissy was quietly preparing her own response, possibly even a sit-down interview, to tell her side of the fee story. Behind closed doors, Jim was reportedly furious. According to one source, he felt betrayed and set up. He believed Jaguar had recorded him under the guise of helping him clear his energy. Something she often talked about in her spiritual live sessions. But instead, she turned that trust into content. Content that shattered his reputation overnight. And let's not forget, Jaguar Wright has a history of taking private conversations public. She did it with Common, Mary J. Blige, Diddy, and even Erica. Every time she claimed she was exposing industry evil. So when she said she had more on Jim, fans didn't doubt it for a second. Still, some people questioned her motives. If Jaguar really wanted to help, why would she leak a call instead of warning Chrissy privately? Why go live, tease the public, and feed the algorithms? That's when conspiracy theories started to swirl. Maybe Jaguar wasn't acting alone. Maybe someone wanted that call to get out. Several bloggers claimed that a certain network, the same one behind Love and Hip Hop, was in early talks with Jaguar for a Tay documentary. If true, that means the leak wasn't just emotional revenge, it was marketing. And if Jim knew that, it would explain his panic. As the drama grew, fans began to notice patterns. The way stories like this always seemed to erupt right before a major business move. Some pointed out that Jim had been pushing new music and brand partnerships before the scandal. Suddenly, those projects went silent. Others speculated Chrissy might finally be stepping into her own spotlight, using the moment to redefine her image outside of being Jim's fiancée. But one detail changed everything. Jaguar went live again and dropped a bombshell. That call wasn't the first time we spoke. Jim came to me months ago. He told me something about Chrissy, something that broke my heart. The chat exploded, begging her to elaborate. She didn't drop names, but she said this. Chrissy thinks she knows why he never married her, but that's not the real reason. He couldn't. And when I tell you why, you'll see why he kept her waiting. All these years, those words hit hard. Fans immediately recalled how long Chrissy had waited for Jim to commit. The proposal, the stalled wedding, and the endless back and forth that became one of reality TV's longest-running love sagas. Now, people wondered, was there a hidden truth behind it all? Rumors began swirling that Jim's secret wasn't a other woman, but about a decision he made that bound him to something or someone else in the industry. Something contractual, spiritual, or financial, depending on who you asked. The theories got darker by the hour, and through it all, Chrissy stayed silent. That silence became its own headline. Because when a woman who's built her brand on strength and loyalty suddenly goes ghost, it usually means she's deciding whether to fight back or walk away for good. By this point, fans weren't just watching a scandal. They were watching a collapse in real time. Jim's reputation, Chrissy's love story, Jaguar's credibility, all tangled in one explosive leak that the internet refused to let die. But if you thought this was the peak, you're wrong. Because what came next? The second part of that leaked call would make everything before it looked like a warm-up. And when that dropped, the truth about Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin would finally start to unravel. When the second half of that leaked call surfaced, it didn't drop like news. It dropped like a bomb. Overnight timelines were flooded. Clips re-uploaded faster than platforms could take them down. And this time, it wasn't just whispers or speculation. It was raw, emotional, and unmistakably personal. Jim Jones wasn't just talking about pressure, fame, or industry politics. He was talking about love, guilt, and a choice that's haunted him for years. In the clip, Jim's voice trembled. You could hear him pacing, breathing heavy between sentences. "You don't understand what I gave up for her?" He said, "Everybody think I ain't marry her because I didn't want to. But it ain't that simple." That one line alone sent shockwaves through the internet. What did he mean by that? What could stop Jim Jones, a man who's built his entire image on loyalty and love, from marrying the woman he's been with for decades? Jaguar Wright claimed that what Jim was referring to wasn't another woman, but a deal. Something that happened early in his career when Dipset was at its peak. According to Jaguar, Jim confessed that there were conditions tied to his success, and that one of those conditions involved sacrificing the very thing he cared about most. His public commitment to Chrissy. She said Jim told her, "They told me love's a weakness. They said if I make her my wife, they'll make sure everything I built disappears." Jaguar said he was emotional, even crying at one point, saying he'd spent years living in two worlds. One where he was the capo, respected and feared, and another where he was just Jimmy, the man Chrissy fell in love with now. Whether you believe in industry conspiracies or not, that kind of confession hit people differently. Because for the first time, the story wasn't about cheating or betrayal. It was about control. It painted Jim as a man trapped in a machine much bigger than himself. Fans started piecing together everything that suddenly made sense. The endless engagements, the hesitation, the way every time Chrissy tried to move the relationship forward, something always came up. They looked back at the Love and Hip Hop reunion clips, where Chrissy broke down crying, saying, "I just want to be his wife. I've waited long enough." Back then, everyone thought it was pride. Now they wondered, was it fear? The industry started reacting too. Quietly but noticeably, certain rappers unfollowed Jim. A few old collaborators began posting cryptic messages. One producer tweeted, "When the truth comes out, remember who warned you." And the most telling part? Not one of Jim's close friends, not even Cayman, came out publicly to defend him. That silence said more than any statement ever could. Meanwhile, Jaguar Wright kept fanning the flames. She went live again, this time with what she called proof. She showed screenshots of what appeared to be call logs, timestamps, and fragments of messages that she claimed were from Jim himself. "This man reached out to me because his soul was heavy." She said, "I told him the truth, and now he's mad the world knows it too." But here's where it took a darker turn. During that same live, Jaguar suggested that Jim wasn't the only one holding secrets. She hinted that Chrissy knew part of the story that she'd chosen to stay quiet for her own protection. Chrissy's not dumb. Jaguar said she's been protecting her image too. That's why she's quiet right now, deciding whether to protect him or expose him. That statement flipped the narrative completely. Suddenly, the internet wasn't just blaming Jim. It was questioning Chrissy. Was she really the victim, or was she complicit in keeping up the image for all these years? Was this a real love story, or just a brand partnership built on illusion? As more fragments of the call leaked, things got even messier. In one segment, Jim could be heard saying, "They said they'd bury me if I broke the code. You think I am not scared? Do you think I don't want to tell her everything?" That line made even his biggest critics pause. because behind the tough exterior, you could hear a man genuinely broken, torn between love and loyalty to something that clearly still had power over him. Chrissy's silence continued, but not forever. After nearly 2 weeks of social media blackout, she finally posted one cryptic message on her Instagram story. Just black background, white text, truth, don't need defense. It just needs time. No tags, no captions, but that one line was enough to send the internet into another frenzy. Blogs blew up instantly. Some said it was her way of standing by Jim. Others claimed it was a warning that she was preparing to speak her truth soon. Jaguar reposted that story with her own comment. "Time's up, baby. Tell the world. Time's up, baby. Tell the world." By this point, the narrative had gone beyond gossip. It became a cultural moment. People weren't just watching Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin anymore. They were dissecting the price of fame, loyalty, and love in an industry built on illusion. But then something unexpected happened. The original audio files of Jaguar's leaks began disappearing. Entire archives were wiped from YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram overnight. Copyright strikes, takedowns, and legal notices started flying out. Some of Jaguar's live accounts were suspended again, while a few smaller pages claimed they'd been contacted by legal teams warning them to delete the clips. Immediately, it looked like someone was trying to erase the story from the internet. But it was already too late. The clips had spread too far, too fast. Mirror pages, reaction videos, commentary channels. They'd already made sure this moment would live forever in digital history. And yet, amid all the chaos, one thing remained unclear. Who leaked the second half of that call? Jaguar swore she didn't. Some people believed Jim's own circle might have done it, either to destroy Jaguar's credibility or to force him into finally telling the truth publicly. Whatever the case, the damage was done. The love story that once symbolized ride or die loyalty now stood at the edge of destruction, and everyone was waiting for the next move: Chrissy's next post, Jaguar's next live, or Jim's next word. Because at this point, the question wasn't if the truth would come out. It was how much more of it we were ready to hear. If you made it this far, then you already know this story isn't over. The leaked call was just the beginning. Now, the real question is, what happens when Chrissy finally speaks? Will she expose Jim once and for all, or protect him one last time? Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Do you believe Jaguar Wright's version of events, or do you think this is just another setup in the industry's never-ending power games? Hit that like button if you want me to break down the uncut version of the leaked call, the one nobody's been allowed to play yet. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because in the next episode, we're diving into what Jaguar says she's been threatened to keep quiet about. Trust me, it's even darker than what you just heard. This is bigger than gossip. It's about the truth behind the fake. Until next time, stay curious, stay cautious, and always remember, in this game, nothing stays secret forever.